Hello students, hope you have gone through the addressing population lesson 2 in environmental science. Unit 2, demography and definition of demography, demography transition and different models and in different countries, and thoroughly you understood that and you completed your assignments also. Now we are moving to the environmental science addressing population, that is lesson 2 unit 3 strategies for controlling growth of population. So it is very important to control the population for any country. It is very important. It is necessary that people should be educated about the need to limit the population and about the steps which can be taken in this direction. So the growth of improvement, development of the country, growth of the country, whatever it may be, mainly based on the population children. So the population must be under control. So the following steps to be taken to keep them in the under the control. Now the message about population problems should reach as many people as possible, including those living in very remote areas. So earlier it was very difficult, children, when there were no media, only through radio, by people only moving to them like health workers, like that only the message used to reach. But now we have many multimedias, media people, health workers, and we also have this television, YouTube, whatever it may be, we are able to reach. So it is very important thing. First and foremost thing is it should reach the people. People should be made aware of advantages of living small families and at the same time the disadvantages of having many children. The highest populated country, China, is almost reaching the norm of one child per family, whereas India has to strive hard even to reach the 2 children per family norm. That means each family should have only one child. If that is the norm of the China, but we are still struggling to have 2 children norm. Many will think that children are God-given gifts, so we can have any number of children like that. No doubt, we can have children, but can you provide all the facilities to all the children? A family with 5 children and 10 children, are they happy, or a family with 2 children are happy? So this is the main point. Okay? The orthodox view to have at least one son, especially in Indian society, should be modified by education. Even today, in remote areas, villages, many educated also, they feel that they should have one son instead of daughters. If they have 2 daughters, they prefer for going for one more child, the son. One more is also daughter. What? So this kind of attitude, orthodox view, should change. Marriageable age should be higher. The age restriction, at least 18 years for girls and 21 years for boys, under the law must be followed strictly. Even today, children, child marriages are still seen. May not be that widespread, but still it is seen. Whatever may be the reason is, the child marriages are going on. The marriage couple should be educated to delay the birth of their first child, to space the second with a sufficient interval for proper upbringing, and to stop the third. That is, there must be some gap between one child to the other child. Not only for upbringing, it is also for health-wise. The mother must be ready to give birth to the next child. She should have enough strength to give the next child. So there must be gap between one child to the other child. People should be advised to adopt family planning methods by which they can prevent pregnancy. These include devices for both men and women. For example, condoms such as Nirod, intrauterine devices such as copper T, oral pills such as Maladi. Next topic we are moving on to is population explosion. Population explosion is defined as a rapid increase in number of particular species, especially in the world's human population, attributed to an accelerating birth rate, a decrease in infant mortality, and an increase in life expectancy. That means one particular species, if it increases enormously, so for example, dinosaurs, they increased enormously and finally they perished. Like that, especially in the human population, if it increases, we call it as population explosion. But accelerating means increasing birth rate. Got it? Now, India and China make 1/3 of the total world population. There are almost 198 countries, children. Out of that, only 2 countries are having 1/3 of population means. You can imagine the population of China and India. In earlier years, the human population remained fairly constant. The sharp dip shortly after 1000 AD is due to severe epidemics, especially the Black Death, plague caused by the bacterium spread by the rat flea bite. Later, the scientific and industrial age gave a fresh momentum to the population rise. Today, the rate of growth of population has reached a point such that the population doubles in about 35 years. That means, according to the world population is likely to be 50 billion in 21,000 AD, 10 times the present number. So imagine the increase, double. With this population only we are struggling so much. Imagine double the population. So the resources will be, what we are getting will be half only. Now, reasons for rise in world human population. 6 main reasons for sharp rise in world human population in the recent past. Number 1, better health care for all age groups. Hospitals and practicing doctors are available for help. So the medical field has increased enormously and better health care is available. So the rise in population is taking, the mortality rate has come down. Fewer deaths due to better medical aid, vaccination programs. Many diseases have been controlled or even wiped out. And secondly, more patients get cured and live longer. That is why old age population is more, children, in China and India. Fewer deaths. Food shortages minimized and green revolution. More food is produced and stored. Green revolution you have learned in your previous unit, isn't it? Usage of more of this pesticides, chemical fertilizers and all increased enormously the production of food. So there is no food shortage and abundantly people are getting whatever they want for eating. So there are few starvation deaths. Earlier, children, starvation death, lack of food, many people used to die. Got it? Now, improved nutrition due to consciousness, especially for growing children. They keep healthy, suffer less from diseases and live longer due to vaccination, whatever it may be. People got that awareness, and most of the people are conscious about what they are eating, and they are eating nutritious food, and that is one of the important reason for rise in the world human population. large-scale immunization against fatal diseases. You take polio, you take smallpox, all these are totally eradicated from the world. Why? Because of vaccination and immunization. We have vaccine for chicken pox, vaccine for measles. You have learnt in your lower classes. So all these are, this is also one of the contribution, and that is why human population is increasing today. Fewer infant deaths. In older times, an average family used to get 4 to 6 children, out of which one or more would not survive due to certain diseases. Today, most newborn babies survive due to better health care. Maternity homes provide safety for both the child as well as the mother. As a result of all the above factors, even if a couple produced only 2 to 3 children, the total population rises sharply. Earlier children, infant mortality was very high. They used to die. The child stillborn, that is the child born inside the womb only, it will die. Or sometimes immediately after the birth, it will die due to malnutrition or whatever it may be, for mother and some problem, or after birth also the child will not have proper food. So many things are there. Now it is not like that. Very few infant deaths. More and more children are reaching the reproductive age, and they contribute to the population growth. And factors responsible for population explosion in India. Now, in this previous topic, you have learned the factors responsible for human population rise in the world. Now we are going to learn specifically in India. First one is illiteracy. Most of the rural population, which forms the bulk of our society, are still illiterate, ignorant and superstitious. So these three are important points, children. They are illiterates. They want boy child only. Ignorant. They don't have any other avocation other than giving birth. They don't have any other work also. Most of them are in rural population. So superstitious also. If the boy child is there, they can get that what is called salvation. So for all that also, they want only boy child, and they wait even after 4 girls also, they wait for boy child. And these are all various reasons for increase in population in India. They also do not know functioning of human reproductive system. So it will become weaker and weaker. The mother become weaker, the uterus become weaker, the last child will be weaker. That all they don't know. They continue to reproduce. Now, traditional beliefs. Among the people from lower strata of society, a child is regarded as gift of God and sign of prosperity. Therefore, they make no effort to avoid pregnancy. This is one more reason. Traditional beliefs. Next, mortality rate. Due to high infant mortality rate in our country, people from the economically weaker section think it's safer to produce more children so that at least some may survive. So high mortality rate, death rate is increasing. So they think if I have 5 children, 2 passes away, well, at least I'll have 3. If I have only 1 child, that 1 child goes, I'll become childless. No. So let me have more children. That is the idea behind this. Economic reasons. Children are considered to be helping hands to increase the family income. At the age of child labor, at the age of 10 or 11, the small children will be sent for earning, and that increases the economy of the house, family. So this is also one of the reasons to have more children. Religious and social customs. India is a center of various religious and social customs, and as such, most people do not accept family planning norms. They think if they do family planning, they stop having children, they are committing some sin. So that religious and social norms and customs also prevent them not to have the family planning. Desire for male child. Most Indian families still hold the view that male child is essential for keeping up the name of the family. For the Khandan, Khanam, like that, they will think still the male child is important. Further, a male child is usually a great help to the aged parents. These two reasons often contribute to getting several children before getting one son, or sometimes not even that. Lack of recreation, poor standard of living, and poverty provide no recreation on other than sex. So that is also one of the reasons they have more children. Population of any place can be characterized in a variety of ways: age, structure, population momentum, demographic transition, and doubling time. Age, structure, population profile. A bar graph plotting number of males and females for successive ages in the population, starting with youngest at the bottom. Shows that age structure. How many aged people are there? How many middle-aged are there? How many are in youth? How many are in the old? That is called population profile, bar graph. If the youth bar is more, that country is having more of youth. If the child bar is more, then that country is having more young children. The age old persons, like that, they start with the youngest at the bottom and old at the top. Population momentum, the tendency of a population to continue growing even after replacement level based fertility has been reached due to continued reproduction by already existing age groups. If the youth group is there, they continue to reproduce, means naturally there will be increase in population. Demographic transition, the tendency of population to shift from high birth and death rates to low birth and death rates as a result of epidemiologic and fertility transitions. The consequence is population that grows very slowly, if at all. That is demographic transition. In previous lesson we have learned. Due to various reasons, there is a shift from low population rate to high population, from the stage 1 to stage 4. In that you have seen from the high birth rates and low death rates is one of the reasons for increase in the population. Doubling time, the time it takes for population increasing at a given rate to double in size. Suppose if you take children, the number is 2 people, the maximum increase will be 4. If the number is 2 million, the doubling time, the time limit is same, but the doubling is 4 million it becomes, isn't it? So that is also one of the reasons. Environmental impact of growing population. Both growing population and increasing affluence have numerous environmental and social implications for the whole world. Prior to Industrial Revolution, most of the human population survived through subsistence agriculture. That means before Industrial Revolution, most of the people were depending on agriculture, and later slowly they started living on this industrial development. And after World War II, modern medicines, chiefly antibiotics and vaccines, were introduced into developing nations, whereupon death rates decreased substantially and thus population growth increased. This is a very important point, children. The discovery of antibiotic and vaccination by the Edward Jenner, that increased the health conditions. Any disease can be treated. See, even now what they are trying for this pandemic is to find out antibiotic, isn't it? So That is one of the reasons after the Second World War, after the discovery of antibiotics, the death rate has substantially came down. Then the population growth also increased. This resulted in the phenomenal changes in agricultural practices, settlement pattern, and several other social activities. So in agricultural practices, that is, antibiotics are used even in the agriculture children to kill the pests and all. So that practices also has changed. So several other social activities also has changed, and this brought a revolution. The major changes are noted below. Subdivided Subdivide farms among the children of the next generation, or intensity cultivation of existing land to increase production per unit area. Earlier one person only whole land. Now it is not like that. Four children, four, they divide among the four children, and four people will grow four different crops. Open up a new land to farm. Move to cities and seek employment. Engage in illicit activities for income. So not only on agriculture and only what we are getting. So other children, one child looks after agriculture, one child moves to the city to seek for employment. Like that also the changes started. Emigrate to other countries legally or illegally. All these activities stated above have a long-term consequences in local and regional environment, which is very difficult to migrate unless population pressure and resource demand can be checked. It is clear that population growth, poverty and environmental degradation are not separate issues. They are very much interrelated. They have link between each other. Disadvantages of large families. What are the disadvantages of large family? That is what we are going to discuss now. What are the advantages of small family? How many things you will get? All that you are going to learn. Economic pressure. First point is economic pressure. Anything it circle, it go around in the economic conditions, children. So here also it is the same. Economic pressure. There is a great economic pressure on the parents which affects their quality of life. If there is suppose 10,000 income and one child, they can provide many things. The same 10,000, if they have 5 children, how they will provide like one child, what all one child gets, here 5 children should be shared, isn't it? So it is very difficult to manage if the large family with small income. Mother's poor health. The mother may suffer from ill health due to frequent pregnancies, and especially if they are in quick succession. That means there's no gap between one child to other child. One child, first elder child is 1 year old, the second child is already there in the womb, means how mother will get proper nutrition. The previous child will suffer with marasmus or kwashiorkor, like that, some malnutritious diseases, isn't it? So mother health also will degrades. So all this we should keep in mind. Children neglected in home. Poor health of the mother in turn leads to lesser attention of the parents towards the children. The mother is not healthy, she cannot take care of the children properly. Poor housing. Families cannot afford good, clean, well-ventilated houses. A large section of Indian population lives in small 1 or 2 room houses or huts with several family members, including parents and even grandparents living together. Malnutrition. Children are unable to get enough food. This leads to malnutrition and deficiency diseases because they won't get proper nutrition. Insufficient medical care. Proper medical facilities being expensive cannot be made available to all the members of the family. Most of the time the children are deprived of their facility. They won't get proper medical care, children. Same tablets what you got last time fever you got, no, the same prescription you take, same tablets you continue. This will be the attitude because they cannot afford to go to doctor again. Poor clothing. Proper clothing cannot be provided to all the members of the family. They have to share. The elder one's clothes must be worn by the next child. The next books also like that will be passed on to one child to other child because there are too many. Insufficient education. Proper education, even primary education, may not be available to children. If they are having 5 children, they all together they might send the last child to the our first child to the good school. The rest all have to be deprived of the education. Children are neglected socially. Not enough attention is paid to children who thus neglected may grow as mentally sick citizens. In view of the above points, it is now realized by all that the size of the family should be limited. This is one main aspect of family planning or family welfare programs. Now we are moving on to assignment. Before writing assignment, please go through the lesson thoroughly, children. It is very interesting actually. In this part of the lesson, how to control population and what are the disadvantages of large families, what are the advantages of small families. Ma'am, you have not given any advantage for the small families. It is now understood if you know the disadvantages of the large families, isn't it? It is like an index. You will understand advantages of the small families. So go through properly, study well, and then write the assignment. Got it, children? Now assignment. Answer the following. Explain 5 consequences of uncontrolled population growth on environment. State any 5 strategies that can be adopted to reduce birth rate in India. What is meant by family welfare centers? What is the population density of India? What are the disadvantages of large families? Explain what are the factors responsible for population explosion in India. Population explosion is far more than atomic explosion. Give reason or comment on it. Explain how population growth is linked to climate change. Mention the major changes noted after World War II in agriculture practices. What is the role of education in controlling growth of population? Thank you.